you know, I give a little and I eat the tea and scones. Here I go again. Why membership? Well, there are a lot of reasons why membership, if you want to be a part of a spiritual community. But for me, this is the biggie. It's about the flow of energy. It's about where I put my attention and where I put my commitment. So if this place feeds you, then maybe feeding it with a little bit of membership is a way to think about keeping that flow going in your life. So see Russ. Where's Russ? There he is. See Russ if you want more information about membership. We've got a new member class beginning on June 10th. You can get in that new member class. I think everyone here, we've got a British theme going on. We're doing a Beatles song. Everyone stand up. You know this one.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Broken-hearted people living in the world agree there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see there will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
There will be an answer. Let it be. That hit me right between the eyes, Reverend D. Right between the eyes, this week especially, because we need some answers. All right, Lord, what am I supposed to say next? I'm overclamped. I want you to mark your calendars. Pull them out right now. That's all right. Don't pull them out right now. Mark your calendars for Friday evening, June 29th. This is way off. We don't normally announce something way off, but we're announcing it. So that tells you how important we believe it is. June 29th, it's a Friday evening. Oh my God, there's Lori Ware. Friday evening, I'm sorry, I had to stop. Friday evening, June 29th, from 7 to 9 p.m., the Prosperity Team will be having a powerful experiential workshop called Step Into Your Abundance. Friday, June 29th, 7 p.m. 7 p.m., June 29th, Friday. Friday, 7 p.m., June 29th. I'm going to say that every which way I can until you remember it. Please come on out, mark your calendar, and make a point of joining us that night. We also, of course, ongoing classes this week. Wednesday Lunch Bunch is looking at the Hope, a guide to sacred activism. We've had a full crowd there the last couple of weeks, I believe. And then Wednesday evening class, 7 to 9 p.m., we are continuing Heart Math, which has been a fantastic class. The vision of Heart Math is to activate the heart of humanity. There will be an answer. Let it be. Activating the heart of humanity is, I think, what we are called to do right now. That's it, I believe. B? I'm so sorry. I did not know that. Forgive me. I'm new here.
There's a picture going to go up here. And I'm asking our prayer chaplains to come up front and just line across down here right in front of everybody. I know why Deb said what she said, because the events of this week have just again made us understand how very important life is. I was in a meeting on Monday morning before the incident happened later this week with a bunch of ministers, and we were over in North Nashville. And our own district attorney, Glenn Funk, said the only way to make a difference in this world is when we each remember the sanctity of life. I was amazed that our district attorney said such a thing. It's awesome. That somehow or other, some people in our world have forgotten the sanctity of life. And so this morning we are going to have a special prayer about that. But before we do, you know, in the last shooting, I felt like we needed to acknowledge the people that lost their lives. I know this may be hard for some of you, but I want you just to do whatever you need to do to hear these names. Glenda Ann Perkins. She was a substitute teacher. She was a favorite among the kids. In fact, the kids would ask their teachers, please get Miss Perkins to come and substitute when you're absent. Cynthia Teasdale. She was a teacher and a mother and a wife and a grandmother, and was looking forward to retiring and being a full-time grandmother. Sabika Sheikh, a 17-year-old exchange student from Pakistan, whose father has said, I thought America was a safe place for her to come, and obviously I was wrong. Chris Stone, 17 years old, said of him that he was always there and willing to listen to all of his friends. Jared Black, 16 years old, and his favorite class was art, the same class that he got killed in. Shauna Fisher just turned 16 and was worried about passing her driver's test. Kimberly Vaughn, 16, loved art, had visions of becoming an artist someday. Angelique Ramirez, compassionate and funny 16-year-old who was always the life of the party. Christian Riley Garcia, 15 years old, loved by all his friends, couldn't wait to turn 16 to be able to drive. Aaron Kyle MacLeod had just celebrated his 17th birthday 2 days earlier. He was interested in creating comic books. And I also want us to hold Demetrius, 17 years old, the shooter. in our hearts and minds today because there was something amiss in his world. And so I ask this morning that you pray with us. Just breathe out for a moment. And just be here now. Dear God, we pray for this world. We ask that you remove the walls that separate us and the chains that hold us down. Use us to create a new world on this earth, one that reflects your will, your peace, your love, your joy. In this now moment, we know your power, living, loving Spirit, and you have given it to us to create a new world. And in this moment, we ask for the light to be shown on this situation and other situations like it. It seems our entire world is filled with confusion, so illumine our minds. Use us, Lord, as never before. We want to be a part of the mighty plan of oneness that will heal our world, so may we no longer desire to war against each other in thoughts, in words, in feelings, or in actions, and most specifically, living, loving Spirit. May we no longer be at war with ourselves. May we in this moment forgive and release the errors of the past, including this century. May every nation, every people, every color, every religion find at last the one heart that we share. You are our common Father, Mother God, the Redeemer of broken hearts and broken dreams. May we no longer obscure your vision of tomorrow by holding on to yesterday. May we come together to create and sustain a world that works for all, for us, for our children, and for our children's children. We ask these things in the name and through the power of Jesus the Christ, our way shower, our elder brother, the one who taught us to love. And we know these things are so, and so they are. And we say amen and amen. And I ask that everyone stand and sing with our praise and worship team. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. And you all might want to turn around so you can see the words, unless you can see them all the way back there.
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Lord, make me an instrument
Good morning. This seems like a good time to make this announcement. You might have noticed that some of us are wearing stoles. The prayer chaplains are now wearing stoles so you can identify us if you would like to seek prayer. So if anyone would like to have a prayer with any one of us after the service, please come and find one of us. Thank you. And today's sacred reading. Walt Whitman once said, "I am not all contained between my hat and my boots." What do you say about yourself after the words, "I am"? It seems that we see only a part of ourselves. And then we are surprised that the part we do see fails to do the work of the whole. So the affirmation, I am a spiritual being having a human experience. Together. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. My life is a grand expression of two sides of the same coin, the love of Divine Mother and the actions of Divine Father. Both are continually pressing forward towards manifestation. Mine to do is to remember that fact in every moment and to be a part of it all. As I remember my I am presence, I begin to experience my feet on the ground and my head in the clouds. As I live my life in day-to-day moments, I realize that each moment is lived one moment at a time. Whether it be today, yesterday, or 10,000 years in the future, my mission is to be present to that one moment, realizing that it is calling forth my I amness into being and expressing. This moment of prayer and meditation is a time of being aware. As I sharpen my awareness, I become more present to this now moment. My very presence assists me in setting the intention to be present to the next moment and the next. In this way, I am embodying the wisdom of divine mind so that I can begin to more perfectly express my I amness in my world.
So I ask you to settle into your seats. And if you have any angst still about the situations in the world or in your personal life, just breathe out again and center yourself. We are affirming this morning, I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And sometimes those human experiences can be things that we don't necessarily enjoy or like. And so we breathe into this now moment, paying attention that in this moment I am safe. In this moment I am loved. In this now moment, the presence of the Divine Mother is flooding me with love, is embracing me with peace, and is filling my heart up with great joy. And so I just breathe into the awareness of that. I am a spiritual being having a human experience in the silence. In the silence. I am a spiritual being, having a human experience. And the Divine Mother calls to me in this moment. She says, you are loved. She says, you are safe. She says, come to me, and I will be with you. And I will be with you as you walk this human path, because you are loved. You are safe.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear you call. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, hear you call. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, hear you call. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your song.
Hey, y'all. I brought two friends with me today, and I want to introduce you. Oh, the hot flashes, yes. That's what we call ourselves. This is Colleen Walters, who is from Detroit originally, and she used to be Porter Wagner's duet partner, and so she's sung on the Opry before on her own. And in fact, the three of us sing at a club down in Music Valley every Monday, and it's a group called the Wildcats. So that's how we got together. And over here, this is Jolene Kay, who is from Minnesota. And she used to work with Cowboy Jack Clement. She's recorded with Johnny Cash, and she's been around. So the three of us hooked up about a year ago with Coleman Murphy on guitar. And so this is our first shot at singing in church, so we're excited. Uh-oh, one of the hot flashes. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Oh.
Hello. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Oh, there we go. That's
All right.
good. All right. Here we
Just delete that part of the video. Somewhere
Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Thank you.
Thank you. Who knew hot flashes could be so wonderful? Don't you think we need a little bit of that right now? And I was so moved if some of you got to see some of the royal wedding or hear some of the words of Bishop Michael Curry. Lord mercy. And I just want you to hear this one particular part, because I think it has to do with this. When love is the way, then no child would go to bed hungry in this world ever again. When love is the way, we will let justice roll down like a mighty stream. When love is the way, the earth will become a sanctuary. When love is the way, we will lay down our swords and shields and study war no more. When love is the way, there's plenty of room for all. When love is the way, there's a new world, a new human family. Can you feel that? That's our intention. It's a lovely intention to hold. We are saying this morning that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. But sometimes these human experiences don't feel good, right? So we have to remember our affirmation from last week, which I worked into our meditation this morning. I am safe. I am loved. I am free to live in the presence of Divine Mother. If you've never been to a Unity church, you may not be aware that we consider both sides of divinity, the mother and the father, the masculine and the feminine, because we are told, even in the scriptures, that we're all made in the image and the likeness. And when we live in a world that does not acknowledge the divine feminine, then some of us are left out. And it feels pretty icky. And so in Unity, we add both sides of the same coin. So what is your intention for this day even? Or do you even get up and set an intention? Or do you just get up and willy-nilly go through the day? I used to do that. And unfortunately, I got what I got. And sometimes it wasn't pretty. And until I got to New Thought 35, 36 years ago and realized that I could do life a different way, that I could get up every morning and I could have time in the silence and I could set an intention, a focus for my day, and then it like laid a path out in front of me. So, what I want you to know is that when you are setting an intention, you're imagining what your day is going to be. Some of you are visual. Some of you are not. Some of you are auditory, so you'd have to speak your intention out. Some of you are very kinesthetic, so you might want to focus on what it's going to feel like through your day. Some of you know that I spend a lot of my time during the week working with women who are having infertility issues. And one of the experiences I use with them, because they have gone through so much, some of them years, some of them $75,000 to $125,000 trying to get pregnant, mortgage their homes to the hilt. And what happens is after a while of all of this stuff that goes on in their world, they can't imagine anything any different. Don't we do the same thing? It may not be an infertility issue. It may be something else in our lives that sometimes we can't imagine anything beyond this. So this is an exercise I do with them. If you've ever done it with me or with anyone else, please don't holler out the answer right now. But I just want you to imagine that there is a goose in a bottle. And how would you get the goose out without breaking the bottle? Now, I'm going to give you 35 or 40 seconds to talk to somebody beside you if you need to think about that and have some interaction. Talk amongst yourselves. I didn't say it was a gray goose bottle, but oh well. So I have no idea what you talked about. I've had girls in my group or women in my group talk about Vaseline and all kinds of stuff, trying to get this goose out of this bottle, starving the goose for long periods of time till it would just slither out, and, you know, just amazing things that they would think of. And I'm like, how interesting. Because there's one word that is important there, only one word. We can imagine all kinds of things. The minute that shooting happened again, I've had lots of parents, lots of people talk to me. I even said yesterday at a One Nashville meeting, I'm very grateful that Logan and Austin are not at McGavock High School right now, because I don't know if I'd want them to go for the rest of this week. I don't have a clue. Because when something bad happens out in the world, we can imagine all kinds of things. Even though we are trained to not, right? We're all trained in here, most of us, that our thoughts create our world. It's a unity principle. And whatever I sit around and think about is going to be what's going to happen. But it's very difficult when things are happening that I don't know how to even wrap my mind around. And then I imagine horrendous things. I know I'm not the only one that does that. I know that there are other people sitting out there that do the same thing. But do you realize that you're creating all kinds of interesting scenarios in your head? And then we sit around and worry about them. And then we post them on Facebook for everybody else to worry about them. We do. I've seen it. Since Friday. It's like, woo, look at all that. What are we going to do? We have to imagine what it is we want. Can you hear that from me? What do we want the world to look like? What do we want the city of Nashville to look like? I was in, the One Nashville meeting yesterday, and everybody's up in arms about who's going to be the next mayor. And what do we want to happen? We are taught in unity not to push against or fight against anything, but when we get passionate, we start fighting against everything. Don't we? I have a very dear friend who I saw out on Facebook, and I was like, wow, fighting against one of the candidates. Just a plethora of just wildness out there. And I was like, wow. And he's a New Thought person. Remember, it's better to be for than against. What can you be for right now? This is important. If you haven't voted, please do. This is huge. This could completely change the landscape of what the city of Nashville is or is not in one little vote. Please vote. And imagine what you want our city to look like. What do you want it to be like? When love is the way, then no child would go to bed hungry in the city of Nashville ever again. Can you feel that? When love is the way, we will let justice roll down like a mighty stream right here in Nashville. Can you feel that? When love is the way, Nashville will be a sanctuary city. When love is the way, we will lay down our swords and shields and not fight with each other anymore. When love is the way, there's plenty of room for all of us, no matter what we believe. That's a hard one. Because it seems like this last week, I've been in all kinds of rooms with all kinds of people who believed all kinds of things. And I've been blowing out all week. Those of you that don't know what that is, that's the reset breath. I've been doing it all week. It's like I can be the presence of peace and love in this room. I can. I can. When love is the way, there is a new Nashville, a new family here. So when you hear something or when somebody hands you a goose in a bottle, or you are the goose in the bottle. You ever been the goose in the bottle? I have. Remember Byron Katie's process. It is so very simple. Martha Creek was just here a month and a half ago. Is what I'm hearing true? That's an interesting thought, isn't it? Anybody been on Facebook lately and then read it and went, I wonder if that's true or not? Is it true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? If I can't absolutely know it's true, I definitely don't need to post it again. Do I? Or run around and talk to all my friends about it, because I don't really know. I have people all the time. I don't know why people call ministers and want to know if something's true or not. How am I supposed to know? I'm like, I don't have a clue. I wasn't there. When Megan Barry and all that stuff happened, I had people calling me, did that really happen? I'm like, I wasn't there. I don't know. Is it true? How do I react when I think that thought? When I think something's true and I think something's bad, then how am I going to react? Check in with yourself, because we're all going to react differently. Some of us are going to get nervous. Some of us are going to be in the fighting mode. You just have to know what comes up for you. That doesn't make you a good or a bad person or more holy than somebody else, but you need to know what happens inside of you when you think something is true and you're fighting against it inside yourself. And who would I be without the thought? Wow. As I said on Wednesday night in the heart math class, some of us are trying to swim in other people's hula hoops and it ain't none of our business. And we get ourselves all passioned up about something that has nothing to do with us. So everybody breathe. Last week we had an invitation. We're going to have 7 invitations during the months of May and June. Last Sunday's invitation was to feel everything. That doesn't sound pleasant to some people. Because we were taught you can't feel this thing, but you can feel this. And the reason we were taught not to feel certain things is because we didn't know how to express them appropriately. You can feel anger and not bite somebody's head off. I promise you can. It's not easy. I can be angry at somebody and not pull out a gun and shoot them. I can. Some people haven't learned that. I can be angry without having to express it to everybody in the room. I can. Because the anger is not about what's out there, it's about me. I'm upset about something in that moment, and it's causing anger inside of me, and it's for me to deal with. But the way we deal with it is we try to make everybody else have to deal with it. Can you hear that? Can you tell I'm passionate about this morning? We do it everywhere. In every organization I'm a part of, it's happening. In every organization. But what I said, actually to Anna Shepard the other day, who was talking to me about that, I said, you know, it's happening at the top of America right now. And so it's funneling down into all of our organizations, all of our structures, all of our churches, all of our everything. It's like it's up. How am I supposed to act when I'm upset? Am I supposed to call somebody a name? Am I supposed to post it on Facebook? Am I supposed to make somebody else live the way I want them to live? I just ask, would you like it if somebody came into your house and told you to live a certain way? Do unto others how? Wow. We understand that. We can verbalize that, but it's hard to live it. Because sometimes I know best, right? Raise your hand, because you do. You sometimes know best. And you're going to tell people about it. And then you wonder why you're upset and why you can't sleep, and why you have indigestion, and why you have high blood pressure, and why, because I'm going to tell somebody about it. Today's is about question everything. We talked about this in the heart math class Wednesday night. Some of us were taught to not question. Anybody grew up in the era when we were taught not to question? Don't question your parents, don't question your teachers. Dear God, don't question them. Because there's no telling what they might do. Don't question the minister. Lord, people don't do that anymore. They question me about everything. That's okay. I have taught you all to do that. Question everything. Why do we want to do that? So tell me what you see. A wolf. If you saw that running through your front yard, what would you think? So imagine that there's a wolf bounding through your front yard. It's strong, sleek, and magnificent. To the naturalist, this wolf is precious, one of God's hallowed creatures. To the hunter, this same wolf is a target, the source of sport, and possibly a fur coat. Everybody's going to have to breathe because we're going to talk about differences of opinion here. To a scientist, the wolf is an object for dispassionate study. And to the nearby sheep rancher whose herd has been slowly decimated, the wolf spells financial collapse. The wolf, it's obvious, is all of these things and none of these things. Can you hear that? That the wolf is just doing what the wolf does. And depending on your belief about it, you've placed a judgment on the wolf. Do you realize we do that about everything? And to everybody? And to every situation? You're probably going to have more questions when you leave than you had when you came. That's my intention, is to leave people in the questions. So when a situation comes in your life that you don't know how to deal with, what do? I heard somebody just go, that would be beautiful if we all did that. But I want you to think about what you do when something comes across your radar and you don't like it, and what is the first thing that happens? I'm not talking about what you do a day later. I'm talking about in that very moment, what happens with you as an individual. Do you even think about the possibility that you may not be seeing the whole picture? That you're only seeing what you saw? So we talked about this last week. These are the three things that I feel like are the most important to live this spiritual life that we are living, but we are having human experiences. We have to be aware. You have to know how awareness comes to you. I talked about this last week also. Some of us are visual, some of us are auditory, some of us are kinesthetic. Some of us have taken the Myers-Briggs. I am an INFJ. Been told I'm that. You are that. Well, when I started reading about that 25 years ago, I was like, I don't want to be a J. I want to be a P. I want to just perceive everything that's coming in. And so I worked on myself. Do you realize you can do that? Do you realize that somebody can tell you you are a blah, 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 and you can go, huh. And I can shift some of that. So I want you to think, because at the end of the service, we're going to be talking about what you put after the words, I am. We've been singing that on Sunday morning. And are those words the same all the time? And are any of the things that you put after I am ever a negative thing? And are you aware of that? And then the next piece is your presence. Your presence is about your energy field. Sometimes it's lovely. Sometimes it ain't. We all know. All your closest and best friends know when it's lovely and when it ain't. Remember what I said last Sunday is we feel you before you even get in the door. Because your energy field runs at least 8 feet above you, 8 feet to both sides of you, in front of you, behind you, beneath you. You are presenting Deborah Moore, ta-ta-da, and there she comes, right in the door. Because we know. You want me to do that? You did that to Lori this morning. Lori probably was like, oh, shoot, I was going to slip in, and she's presented me right here in the door. And then your intentions, something went off. There it is. Do you set intentions for your day? Or do you not? Because it's very important. The people that I've ever talked to that don't think it matters, start doing it for a week or two and see what happens. And see how your world shifts when you get up and first thing in the morning you set an intention for what your day is going to be like. So before we maneuver to the end of our service, I think it's time for a music break. Yes.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are them dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of my bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Yeah. Gone are them dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh, what a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh, what a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Beetle bow.
So what about that intention? It's going to be a bright, sunshiny day. Say that with me. Can you believe it? Can you feel it? Because the way you do intentions is words are really nice, but if you can't feel it in your beingness, you can't hold it. You have to feel it. You have to feel it from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. So when I work with people on setting intentions, sometimes I'm like, okay, that one, are you sure you can feel that? And they'll eventually kind of work with me, and I'll go, let's do something you can feel in this moment. But because that's the one they gave us, we're going to use it. It's going to be a bright, sunshiny day. Say that with me. It's going to be a bright, sunshiny day. Woo! Can you feel that? And so we have felt it. We've questioned some of the things that have been going on in our world. You've probably got lots of questions to ask. But I want to tell you, it comes down to you. Not anybody else, but you. This is a picture of the Buddha when he was young. And before he really got it, he made his life hard. Anybody ever in here ever done that? Because he tried to analyze every thought. He tried to put all these demands on himself because he thought he had to be certain ways. And he began to realize that living that way, no matter who told him to, no matter if it was a teacher or a parent or whatever, was not working for him because he was more uncomfortable than he had been to begin with. And he began to remember himself as a little boy, as a child, free, loved. And when he began to realize that that's really who he still was at the core of his being, he realized that it didn't have to be hard, that it was pretty simple, that I'm the one that's making my life hard because I'm not setting the intention to be who I came here to be. I'm trying to be what somebody else wants me to be. Or I'm trying to take care of something that's not in my hula hoop to take care of. So I want to ask you, what do you put after that powerful word, I am? Because that's the beginning of this whole thing. What do you say after I am? And so I want you to close your eyes for a minute. I am beloved. I am safe. I am a divine child of God. I am free. I inherited the kingdom. I am holy, only goodness comes from me. I am God's handiwork, an expression of divinity here on the earth. I am safe. I am loved. I am the light of the world. I am free to live in the presence of the Divine Mother. And so I ask you to stay in that place for just a moment. And I want you to keep your eyes closed, and I want hot flashes to come to the stage without you seeing them. And when you hear them start singing, you may open your eyes.
Amen. 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 Everybody now. Amen.
gonna let it shine. Oh yeah, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. We're gonna let it shine all around. Unity, yeah, we're gonna let it shine. Shine all over unity. We're gonna let it shine. Shine all over unity. We're gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, yeah. We're gonna let it shine across the USA. We're gonna let it shine. Shine all across the USA. We're gonna let it shine. Shine all across Tennessee. We're gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Everybody now. Whoa, yeah, now this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. 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 Let it shine.
You know how to tell professionals from amateurs? I'll give you 3 good reasons. Number 1 is when they got here to rehearse this morning, they said, "Who's singing lead? You singing lead? I'm singing lead." The second thing is we had like 40 minutes left after they rehearsed because they ran through it. And the third thing is it's totally different when they perform it. They're making it up as they go along. And it sounds like magic. Thank you all for being here so very much. It is the time when we get the opportunity to give back to our spiritual community through the giving of our tithes and offerings and gifts. We do this in a sacred walk of abundance because we believe in being active in the act of giving. So when we do this, you'll come down this way and take one of these affirmations, and then you'll move over here and put your gift in the crystal bowl. So take your gift and say the affirmation with me, please. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life, and life gives back to me.
we open our hearts and our hands and our minds. And we know that these gifts have come from a place of love, and that they will move back out into the universe as the energy of love out into our world. We also are very thankful, Living Loving Spirit, that we had 3 special singers and actually a special guitar player today that helped us understand that hot flashes can be a good thing. We know that however we feel goes out before us, and it will come back to us, heaped up, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, for that's the law, and so it is. Amen.
Wow, I am glad I was here today. What about you? You know, the lion and the tiger are ferocious and proud, but the wolf doesn't perform in the circus. Let's stand and join hands and sing together to close this.
Test, test.
Come on, y'all. Come on up. Come on up.
People all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world join hands and start a love train, love train. Hell, the next stop that we make going big love, and tell all the folks in Russia and China too. Well, don't you know it's time to get on board that train and let it keep riding, 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 riding on through. Well, 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 people all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. Yeah, people all over the world join hands. Come on, start a love train, love train. Tell all the brothers over in Africa, and tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too. Oh, now please don't miss that train at the station, 'cause if you miss it, I'll be sorry, sorry for you. Now, well, people all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world join hands, yeah, start a love train, love train. Yeah, people all over the world join hands, start a love train, love train. People all over the world train.